Welcome back to The John, your daily sports dump, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest takes in the sports industry. So while taking care of business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the AFC East. Alright guys, so the AFC East may not be one of the strongest divisions in the NFL, but I think it's one of the most exciting divisions in the NFL. You have a young, exciting team like the Patriots. You have Josh Allen and the Bills. You have the new-look Jets with Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn. And then, obviously, you have the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen and that whole awesome Bills Mafia, that great atmosphere that the Bills fans bring. But first, I want to start with the New England Patriots. I think they're going to be the worst team in this division. I don't see how... I mean, it's going to be, I think, between them and the Jets. But the Patriots, I think, are going kind of under the radar. They spent $282 million in free agency, signed guys like Harold Landry, Robert Spillane, Carlton Davis, Morgan Moses, Mac Hollins, re-signed Austin Hooper, and their draft was great. I love the pick of Will Campbell. I love Trevion Henderson. I think this team is going to be very similar to these Bill Belichick-led teams with Mike Vrabel at the head coach position, who is known to be very similar to Bill Belichick. I think that's what the Patriots need. Also, I think Drake May is legit. If you watched those games last year, you saw how legit he was, and there was a reason why they waited a little bit to play him, because he was a legit player, and they didn't want to waste him. Now, I like that Will Campbell pickup. Will Campbell looks like this dude will die on the field for his quarterback, which is, if I'm a fan, that's exactly what I want to see from my linemen. They didn't really have any big losses. Their only real loss was they released David Andrews, but they signed Garrett Bradbury, who's been a mainstay in the Vikings O-line for years. And they brought in Stephon Diggs. So they are just building and building. And Mike McDaniel, you can think what you want, or Josh McDaniels, sorry, you can think what you want about him as a head coach. I think he's one of the worst. He should not be a head coach in this league ever again. But he's a great offensive coordinator. You have to give him credit there. He's great at calling offensive plays. Now he has Diggs with Drake May, with Trevion Henderson. You have a great you have Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas. Like, you have a great room, wide receiving room, and you have Diggs. Diggs is, I think, the key, because when you see these guys sort of go from young quarterbacks to successful quarterbacks in the league, they usually need a wide receiver one. And you saw that with Justin Fields. He sort of took a next step with DJ Moore. You saw that with Josh Allen. Conveniently, he had Stephon Diggs. You saw that with Jalen Hurts when he got A.J. Brown. You saw that with Pat Mahomes when he started playing with Kelsey. Having a solid, understanding wide receiver or pass catcher, because sometimes it's not a wide receiver, is something that I think is so undervalued in this league. And I think that's something that the Patriots hit a home run on this offseason with signing Diggs. And I really do think they could be a borderline. I could see them going 8-9. I really do. I see them going 8-9, 9-8. I think they could be a borderline wild card team. I really do. I think they're going to turn some heads this year. A lot of people are just going to think because they're young, they're not going to do anything. But I really disagree with that. I think that they are going to be able to make a run at a potential wild card spot. Next has to be the New York Jets. That whole Aaron Rodgers era, saga, whatever you want to call it, is finally done, and I think that's the best for the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is a prima donna. I don't care. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But he is a prima donna, and he was not built for New York. He was not built to deal with the criticism that when you play bad, you're going to get criticism. When you come in saying you're going to bring Super Bowls and you win 5 games in your season there, you're going to get criticized. I really like the hire of Aaron Glenn, though. I like the sort of mentality that he brings with this. They're going to have a great defense. We know that's what the Jets have been known for in the past few years. I really like the signing of Justin Fields. You have Justin Fields. Now you pair him up back with Garrett Wilson, who they played college ball together, and they already have a connection going there. You have Breece Hall. You have young offense that I think you have a great quarterback to go with it as well. I think Justin Fields is one of the most underrated quarterbacks last year. Last year he was great. He got benched because Russell Wilson was older. That's the only reason why I think he got benched. He was better than Russell Wilson. His issues to the year prior were turnovers. He had 1 interception to 10 touchdowns in 6 games. How is that not? How do you not continue playing the guy who had one interception? So I don't understand why they didn't believe in him more. But I think this is great for Justin Fields. He has a 2-year deal to prove that he's a legit quarterback in the NFL, which I think he is, and I think he will prove to the NFL fans this year that he is. And they also brought in some guys. Josh Reynolds was sort of their big receiver. They also brought back Tyler Johnson, Andre Sisco on defense. So they're not. I think they're going to be the worst in the division, but I think they're going to have a lot of young bright spots. Like I think Justin Fields is I know I've repeated myself a lot here, but I think Justin Fields is going to have a career year this year. And I think he's going to be – I think 2 years, $40 million is going to be the steal of the offseason. I think Justin Fields will be worth $35, $40 million by the end of his contract. That might be a hot take, but I think Justin Fields has all the tools. He has a comfortable wide receiver one that he's not just learning with and meeting for the first time. They played together in college. They know how to work with each other. And I think that's what people are underestimating is how much being comfortable with someone is important to how well you play in the NFL. Next, Miami Dolphins. It is a lot of you don't know, right? You have a great first year with Mike McDaniel. You make the playoffs. You have Tyreek Hill have a career year. You have Jalen Waddle. You have Tua. You have a Devon Achane. You have Mostert go off. You have a great offense. Then you kind of fall and crumble in the playoffs. And then last year was abysmal. Tyreek Hill, since this offseason began, Tyreek Hill demanded a trade, talked bad on Tua. Mike McDaniel has been labeled as a ticking time bomb at the head coach position. They didn't make much additions this offseason. They got back Minkah Fitzpatrick, who they originally drafted. They traded Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith to get him. They don't have – I just don't see them being competitive in this division. I think it's – you drafted Quinn Ewers, you traded for signed Zach Wilson, the Dolphins are not as exciting as they were going into last season, I think. I think they didn't make enough additions to all the subtractions they lost. I think the Jonnu Smith loss is going to be huge, especially for Tua, someone who loves throwing to his tight ends, especially when Jonnu Smith was one of the best receiving tight ends, I think, in the NFL. I think he's underrated. And Tyreek Hill had a massive drop-off last year. Do I think that'll happen again this year? No. But do I think he'll be able to recreate that form that he had with the first year with them? I don't think so either. I think Tyreek Hill's starting to get old. I think Jalen Waddle needs to start to step up. And this Dolphins team, they need to make a run or something in the playoffs this year, or else they're not going to do anything. And Mike McDaniel's going to get fired, and I think the Tua era might come to an end if they don't make the playoffs soon. I think in the next two to 3 years, if they don't make the playoffs, I think Tua might be on his way out. Tua's one of the most best accurate players, but he's always hurt. Same with Tyreek Hill. Same with all of these guys on the Dolphins team. Mostert was always hurt. Now you have Achane, who's great, but he's also injury prone. So I don't know here. I'm tossing up between a record of 7-10 and 6-11. I don't see them going over that hill just because of their lack of defense. Their defense is abysmal, and I don't trust their offense, and I don't trust Tyreek Hill. And Mike McDaniel is one of the best play callers in the NFL, but his offense is too inconsistent, and his defense doesn't help him enough. So I have them going. I'm going to say my final record at 6-11. Now I saved the best for last. Buffalo Bills. You have Josh Allen, and you're returning over 80% of your roster from last year. You also signed Larry Ogunjobi, and this is a signing that's really frustrating me that's going under the radar. They signed Joey Bosa, who, when he plays, is one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. And then they also brought back Tre'Davious White, who was dominant when he was in Buffalo, and maybe he'll be able to regain some of that dominance. And then are finally building a legit offense. They already had Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir is one of the best pass catchers because when you throw the ball to him, he's going to catch it. You already had Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. Now you add Josh Palmer, you add Elijah Moore. You have a very deep lineup. And like I've said before, guys, in all team sports, it doesn't matter how good your 1-2 guys are. It matters how good your 3, 4, 5 guys are. And this is why the Buffalo Bills are going to be Super Bowl contenders this year. And this is why they're going to be going, this might be a hot take, 15-2. I don't see the Bills losing that many games. And no matter what, they're going to be a playoff team. You guys know as well as I do. They're making the playoffs. And Josh Allen, I think this is the year. I think this year the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl. I think Josh Allen plays not MVP caliber football because last year he was not the MVP of the league. That was Joe Burrow, and you guys know that. But I think Josh Allen goes to another level, and I think all of these young talents on the Buffalo Bills finally step up into their comfort zone. Khalil Shakir starts to become a legit wide receiver 1, possibly top 10 in the league by the end of this year, I think. And I think the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl or make the Super Bowl. I really do. I think the Bills added so much. They also brought back their whole team, basically. I don't see how you cannot view them as a Super Bowl contender. And you have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But, guys, that's all I have for today's episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where we talked and gave my predictions for the AFC East. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. And if you're looking for even more sports talk, check out the Sports Syllabus Show, where my partner and I tackle the hottest topics in college sports and beyond. It's a 2-ply discussion, strong, reliable, and always ready to clean up the messy takes in college sports and beyond. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump, where we'll be giving you guys a shit ton of sports information. Until then, keep game face on and stay regular. This is The John.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.